We're going to be the unfiltered
So,
ones.
Lyndon, I think you're the only drummer that I know who doesn't have their ears pierced.
Right.
Did you ever want to get your ears pierced?
Why would I want to get my ears pierced?
That's not the question I asked. I'm asking you, did you ever want to?
There was a time where I did, yeah.
How come you didn't?
Just got over it.
He plaited his hair instead.
I had my hair plaited before though.
Oh. Did your parents care when you plaited your hair?
My parents are from Jamaica.
I don't think Jamaicans are okay with like boys having long hair as a general
I had long hair when I was a baby.
As long as it's kept, as long as they keep your hair neat.
My auntie was gonna have a fit because Isaac wanted to plait his hair.
What now?
Yeah.
No, now. Actually, he's still young, isn't he?
He's 20 something, but he asked when he was 19.
In the Caribbean household, having your hair long is nothing to anybody.
As long as it's neat.
You gotta remember that's the island where people have dreadlocks. Why would we care about cane rolls?
That's true. Wrong crowd.
So no.
Yeah.
It's a wrong crowd.
Wrong crowd.
Sorry.
Yes, actually, to be honest, there was a time. So after uni, when I didn't pierce my ears because that meant that means I had to keep it in all the time after I pierced my ears. But I had like the fake ones that I went raving with.
Wild. I also had
ring.
fake earrings, but that's because I pierced my ears when I was younger, thinking my mum wouldn't see, and I keep thinking about the logic that was missing in my head when I opened the front door to my mum, and she was like, "What the hell have you done?" And I was like, "What? What are you talking about? What are you talking about, mum?" And I think that fear just thought, "No, I'm not going to pierce my ears again. It's not worth it." But now, in my wise age, I'm not really bothered about earrings anymore. I prefer bracelets. Or
I think it's more of an issue for a female because obviously
Can we
most male cultures that a guy really piercing his ears. But obviously in our culture, in terms of especially black guys in London, they do it anyway. But it wasn't really a big deal after I got over it. After I stopped going raving so much, there was no reason for me to put anything in my ears.
Oh really?
Why would we go to work with my earrings in?
People do.
No, they don't.
Not
where I work.
Not in your industry.
Yeah.
No, not where I work. And then the other thing is tattoos. Now it's popular, but that was never something I wanted to do.
Jamaican people don't like tattoos anyway.
Everybody doesn't. I don't know who does. I know I'm talking about the cult. I'm talking about culturally.
Yeah.
Like it's not like a culture. It's like yeah. I mean, unless it's you're Samoan, they like it.
I'm just like, why am I burning my skin? What for?
Not burning.
Not really burning. It's
What is
more
it?
like just inking, I'd say.
Okay, what does it hurt?
It's you're not. I think there's a misconception that you get branded. It's not quite like that. It's not like a hot
Why does it
iron.
hurt?
Mine didn't hurt.
It's an injection.
you're lying.
They're putting the ink deeper into the skin.
Okay.
I am lying. It did hurt. It's on my ribcage.
Exactly.
It definitely did hurt.
There you go.
However, to be honest, I'm okay with it.
Sometimes I see people with tattoos. I'm thinking, you sat down with no top on for that long.
They do it in stages.
My lord.
Yeah.
You're morphing into a parent. Congratulations. But do you know what? Just to preface this whole conversation, in our I guess society of Seventh-day Adventists, especially piercing your ears, because some people might be watching this and be like, female piercing ears, what's the problem? We don't have our ears, usually don't have it pierced. Obviously,
Don't wear jewelry.
don't wear jewelry, point blank period. Yeah.
Don't even wear like a lot of makeup.
Oh, let's start there. We don't wear makeup. Well, traditionally
conservative.
Yeah, conservatively.
Sinners.
We don't wear makeup,
And God loves you
and
just as
we
much.
don't wear jewelry, and especially not jewelry that requires you to puncture yourself. That's what my dad says. You gotta puncture yourself to put more jewelry. Especially no jewelry that requires you to puncture yourself to put it in. So that was a very interesting. I had to repair my. So I wanted my ears pierced. But I didn't really care. I didn't want my ears pierced for a long time. And then I think I turned 26, and I was just like, no, actually, I want my ears pierced. And what's the problem? Just rewind. When I was growing up, my dad used to take me to the to a store that has magazines. He'd look at all these models. None of them have their ears pierced. Meanwhile, it was airbrushed. A lot of them had their ear. If they didn't have earrings in, it was airbrushed that they didn't have their ears pierced. When I found that out, I thought that was a lie. But anyway, my dad, if nothing else, he hated jewelry, nail varnish, anything. Nail varnish, lipstick, jewelry, anything that was extra. He just wanted just general natural beauty, yeah, which is fine. People like what they like. When I was 26, I decided, you know what, actually, don't really want to. I want to have my ears pierced, and my sister decided as well. My sister that follows me, and I had to prepare my parents. Literally have conversations, just generally chat. Oh, by the way, guys, I'm thinking I'm getting my ears pierced, and that would always end the conversation. Either it would erupt into an argument with all of my parents, or people would go away very dismayed and so sad, downtrodden. Yeah, like going to the study, close the door, and you wouldn't see them for the rest of the afternoon. Yeah. And then I told them, okay, it's had to change into I am actually getting my ears pierced on this date, and that would still get them angry. Then we actually got them pierced, and when he saw it, I think he felt like, you know what, I've done all my crying. There's nothing else I can do. It's already done. Yeah, cried all the tears I have to cry. It's already done. Yeah, and he did try to beseech us. I think beseech is the word. Beseech us not to do it. Cool. But one of the things he said, it was me and one of my sisters, and he said, you know what the issue is? I said, look, it's not that bad, is it? He said, it's disgusting. But then he said, you know, the worst, the bad thing is that it won't stop here. You want to continue to pierce your ears.
Of course.
I don't really think that, but whatever. So then my youngest sister decided not to pierce her ears as a bargaining tool to get a dog. Yeah. Meanwhile, we're all in our 20s, by the way.
Not a dog.
So she said, I'm not going to get pierced because I wanted to use it as a bargaining chip to get a dog. That never turned out. A year later, so she's decided to get her ears pierced. At the same time, the sister that got her ears pierced with me decided to get a second hole. And about 2 weeks, everything came to a head. 2 weeks ago, everything came to a head when I came home just to say hi, and I had hoops in. My dad was like, you look really nice today. If only for those stupid things that are hanging from your ears, everything is nice. And I said, no, would you like them if they were smaller or whatever? Then he turns from looking at me, maybe to comparing to my sister, to at least have small ones in like Cynthia, and realised that she had 2 holes in her ears. Friend, it turned from a very friendly conversation to a very hostile and he said, oh, Cynthia, you got another ear piercing. Sorry, Cynthia, I'm using your name. And that was it. He on his shoes. He goes jogging every day, yeah? He on his shoes and he was out of the house for the longest walk. I think he was walking for about an hour and a half. And it was 9 o'clock, so he was moving at night.
At night time?
He was moving at night. That's how you knew that it had rocked him, shaking him. He decided, you know what? Anything's better than being here looking at my daughter that has 2 ear piercings in. I'd rather move at night. So he went out. And I felt really bad. And I just thought, you know what, actually, maybe, I mean, as an adult, you need to have autonomy to pick what you decide, like take on things that your parents want you to have and also choose your own way. But I just thought, you know what, there's a way to do it. I haven't figured out, and we're probably going to go into talk about that. But I just think, in our household, it doesn't matter how old we are, even if we're 40, if we came back with the ear piercing, like my dad was like, now you're going to get one in your nose, in your eyebrow, in your lip, in your everywhere. Like, what? Where are you going to stop? Yeah? I swear, if I came, there's no appropriate age for me to come back with another ear piercing, ever. No. Even if I was old, even if I like stumbled in as an old lady and had an ear piercing, and my dad
I think the reason I didn't get my ears pierced is, to be honest, I didn't want a conversation. I didn't want to go back home and have a conversation with my parents about the fact that I got my ears pierced. I just didn't want to deal with it, so it wasn't worth it to me. So I just didn't do it. It just wasn't worth it.
I think if you have the conversations before, Mummy Grace, I'm not telling him to do it, just FYI, but I'm just saying, in my experience, if you have the conversations before, there's no conversation to be had afterwards.
Okay.
Yeah.
No conversation is going to have. Yeah, it was going to be had at any point.
I don't think it makes a difference. I got my tattoo done when I was 30, and I didn't tell my mum just because. Guess sinners. What? My and God loves me just as much. We got the pearly gates like this. Hey, we made it. I had it when I was 30, and I wasn't living at home. I left home when I was 27, and then I went home, and I had come out of the shower, and I was just in my towel, just in my mum's room, stealing her cream and her perfume, as I do on a regular basis, because she's got the nice expensive stuff. And Mum came in, and she said to me, "What is that?" And I said, "What is it?" I said, "What?" What is that? And she pulled out my towel, and she said to me, she was like, "I don't even care what you've done to yourself. I care about your sister." And I said, "Well, ha ha ha, joke's on you, she's already got a tattoo." Like, she's already got one before me. So my mum was like, "What?" But she was still angry with me. Meanwhile, I'm the eldest. And then she quickly flipped it and said, well, you know, if your brother wants to get a tattoo, then I want you to know what you're going to tell him. And I said, well, if he's 18, Mum, there's nothing I can tell him. Like, I can't be responsible for my siblings. Like, the same way that everybody has to be responsible for their own salvation, we need to be responsible for ourselves.
Friends?
So I can't be responsible for when Christian decides to be 18, maybe I want to get my ears pierced or a tattoo. If he wants to get his ears pierced, he'll get his ears pierced. If he wants to have a tattoo, he'll have a tattoo. Like, I want to have a tattoo. But I didn't tell her beforehand. To be honest, when she saw it, she was just like, I'm so disappointed. Okay.
Actually, and you know, I don't like that part because it makes me feel. It used to make me feel sad. Then it stopped making. I didn't feel sad anymore. And then that time, I felt kind of sad. I went up to my mum's room, and my mum was like, "You're stressing out my husband." Blah blah blah. That's generally what you're stressing out my husband. And I spoke to her and she said, you know what? It's because of you. As the oldest, they follow your lead. If you hadn't pierced your ears, and I said, Mom, I can't live my life as an accessory to my siblings' lives. Because people decide. They do what they want, whether or not I'm doing it or not. Mm-hmm. So she said, if you hadn't pierced your ears, they wouldn't be. If you stumble, you have to realize people behind you, they stumble as well. I said, no, unfortunately, that's not true. My brother is out here living his life in a way, in a fashion that I wasn't even aware of at that age.
Me too.
So what do you have to say about that?
There's four of us, right? There's me and my sister, who's just a year and a half older, younger than me. We've got nothing. Nothing.
Are you suffering for it?
No, we've got nothing. We've got nothing. We've got no piercings, no tattoos. The two youngest ones have things.
Yeah?
Nobody's saying nothing about anything.
No. Because they don't care anymore.
And you know what my brother was like in this whole conversation? So when things were erupting, I was trying to do emotion management, yeah? My brother was like, no, don't apologize. Because it makes it harder for people like me. When I come back at the end of this year and I've got my piercing and my tattoo, then I have to apologize. What are you making out to be bad? I said, Jordan, this is not the time. This is not the time.
He said, when I come back, where are you going, sir?
Yeah. And then my dad said, do you know that you don't live in your own house? And do you know that I remain your father?
It doesn't matter if you have one house, two houses, or three. Your parents are your parents.
Yeah.
My friend has a baby and she was like, let me tell you something. You might think you get married and have your own child and you become an adult. Let me tell you, when your mother comes to your house to help you look after the child, it's your mother's law. It's no longer your house.
Where?
It's,
who? What?
My friend.
Well, that's her situation. Like, if it's my child... Like, obviously, they have their grandparents who you're going to respect, but the law is in my house. It's my law. Me and my wife's law.
Yeah, I used to think like that, but
but it is, though.
No,
I don't think so.
When I grew up, the law was my parents. It wasn't my grandparents.
You know what? I wonder if it's
the same way it's going to be in my house.
I wonder if it's different for women. So I agree with you. So here's what I think. When I get married and have a family, if my husband's mother comes to my house and tries to lay down the law, I might say, you know what? Your mum is being a bit much.
That's true.
If my mum...
Then it's your husband's responsibility to nip it in the bud.
When my mum comes to the house to help me with my child and I can't even get up because I'm so tired, let me help everybody out. Everybody know from now, it's not my law. It's my mum's law.
No, it's not.
No, trust me.
I can help you, but it's still your house.
Because you know it's true. When I'm at even if we're not at my grandparents' house, but we're with my parents and we're in a hotel or a rented house and we're in Rwanda, if my grandparents are around, I go past my parents and ask my grandparents to do whatever, and if they say yes, it trumps everybody.
Yeah, that's a different experience to me. I could never go to my grandparents and ask for something my parents don't let me have. It's never happening.
It's
never happening. My grandparents might say they have. My mum say no. That's it. That's where the law stops.
Maybe because you grew up with your grandparents being around, so maybe it's just holiday vibes. That's why.
Right.
But I don't know. All I know is my mum's law transcends phases of my life, marriage, babies. My mum likes to say to herself, "No, Fabrice, I wouldn't do that. No, I'd let you." It's a lie. It's a lie from the pit of hell. And
yeah, but you've got to enforce that.
Yeah, but Lyndon, sometimes
my sister has these issues with my mother, and she deals with it herself. These are my children.
Yeah,
and I deal with them the way I
not like that. My mum says, "Angela, I know you're so picky. How would you like me to do? Because I know you're gonna while out."
That's how it should be. Because there's no way that my grandmother was telling my mother how to raise us. Not a chance.
My mum definitely is going to try to enforce a whole lot of stuff on my children. I already know it. And you know what? To be honest, I'm not trying to take the battle.
Well, it depends if you want to deal with that or not. Yeah. But I don't think you have to, and I will not deal with that. There's no way. It's your house. You got to stop at some point.
Are you saying then that actually it's not about your age, it's about when do you tell your parents, I'm an adult, I'm not taking on what you're telling me, I'm not going to do things your way, I'm going to do it my way, I'm going to pierce my ears, sorry. Whether you're 17, whether you're 18, 21, 25, 35, whatever, you're like, for you're saying it's down to the individual to push back and set the boundaries.
Yeah.
That's what Jordan was saying too. I think you also need to pick your time.
If you're an independent human being, there's nothing they can say. Not a damn
I mean,
thing.
they can say stuff.
They can say, but they can't actually make it happen.
Yeah, do you know what my dad ended up saying as well? You carry my surname, so my legacy. It makes less sense with us, but more with
so
Jordan.
he's basically put it onto you getting married. Then that's what he's done.
Yeah, I guess so. But he's just
bite
like,
him in the bottom when you get married and you're not listening
doing
anymore.
your own thing.
Yeah, it's true. And do you know what's so funny? Both of my parents were also like, you are also not only is your siblings. In our community, in the Seventh Adventist Church, there are other people's children who have now gone and started piercing their ears.
Not because of you.
Because of us, the wayward ones. The wayward ones. I said, what? And this one had to say, they need to mind their own children. Because if they only knew that piercing's not all the worry that they should have.
Yeah,
Piercing is the least of their worries.
Yeah. It was very interesting conversations, but I think it's hard having that conversation. It's really hard. It's a transition because they're not counting your birthdays like you're counting your birthdays. They're not like, oh, because at 18 I was like, I'm an adult now, I can make my own decision, and obviously I couldn't. They told me to sit back down. And then you get to 21 and when I'm still in the house, they tell me, you're still in my house. I think that you have these conversations, but they have to unlearn. It's also a process for them to kind of slightly to let go. And think for me, when I tell my parents, I said, you know what, the best thing for you to do, you only have so much control over another human being. The one thing you have full control of is the way you react, and whether it's going to cause you to get high blood pressure, diabetes and asthma in one sitting because you're arguing with someone who's going to do it anyway. Like, why don't you just protect yourself, protect your peace, and say, you know what, I don't want them to do that, but I have to detach in some way. My mum's response to that was, you don't know because you haven't got children. It's impossible, you can't detach. Which I'll only really know the full answer when I have my own kids, but I'm pretty sure that's not true. But I don't know. It's hard. I think maybe, it would be really nice if, like, later on, whenever it is, when we have a throwback. You know how Brandy wants to do a new set of Moesha, yeah? Later on, when we have kids, we do one throwback episode of Black No Filter, and we say, we've come here today to say everything that we're saying was total rubbish.
It was trash.
It was all trash. And it was all a lie. No.
Yeah, I agree. But I just want to say as well, I think it also helps when you have siblings that are more rebellious than you. Mm-hmm. So in your family, you were the rebellious one.
No, I wasn't.
Oh, okay. So my sister is the rebellious one. Like my sister straight after me, Georgia. Sorry. She wore my mum down. She pierced her nose. Then it fell out. Then she pierced this size. Then she said it fell out. But I think secretly my grandma took it out when she was sleeping in Jamaica. Oh yeah, she woke up and she was so angry. She marched herself to Burger King to use the Wi-Fi to call me, crying, I'm so angry, my nose piercing's falling out and nobody will pierce it for me again in Jamaica. And when your nose piercing falls out, friend, you've got like 10 hours to pierce it again and then it's done. So then she pierced her ears, then she got a tattoo on her leg, then she got a tattoo here. Me, I'm just here with one tattoo for now. So my poor mum, I think she's like, do you know what? Whatever. Like, what else are you going to tell me? But I think had we not had Georgia out here doing that, it would have been a lot, like the shock would have been much more, I think, for my mum. But obviously my little brother is there and her precious son, her only boy. I wonder how she's going to cope.
I keep saying to them, wait for Jordan. He's about to rock your world. He's about to rock it like you've never seen it rocked before. You think this is bad right now? You got something.
The baby boy or the older boy, which is worse? Which is worse?
Well, you're the only boy.
I'm the only and oldest. Oh.
Yeah, Christian's the baby and the only boy.
And same, Jordan is the baby and the only.
Oh dear. It's gonna be wild.
Oh,
it's gonna be wild.
I can't even think about it. I just need to mind my own business.
I really wonder what it'd be like if I had a little brother. What it'd be like.
Jesus knows how much we can handle.
They'll be telling you, don't do things because your brother's following in your footsteps.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Linda would say, I want to do what I want to do.
My siblings have not followed in my footsteps in any way whatsoever. I don't think.
Same. Some of them, but not all of them.
Well, they're
I
all
just
girls,
say-
so they can't really follow.
I said it. I say it straight. Eldest children are the best, and I just don't care.
Yeah.
No cap.
I mean, I'm not trying to beef with my siblings, but
Lyndon, you sound scared.
Linda's actually.
I've got nothing against my siblings. I've got
I
nothing
tell them all
against
the
them at all.
time. I don't like sharing. I don't like sharing my food. I had to share
I've
my
had
mum.
no problem sharing shit. You could share parents. You can deal with them too. You could share space. I don't mind having siblings. It's great.
Oh no, I love my siblings, and I prayed for them. I was an only child for 12 years. However, I'm the best.
I've been the only child for a year and a half, so I don't remember what it was like.
Yeah, you. That's
so.
the. Yeah, nah. Sorry.
Yeah, I had a sibling by the time I could realise as well.
Sorry,
What I knew
guys.
before.
2 years.
Yeah.
I had a great existence, and it was even greater with my siblings. But I got a lot of them at the same time. It was like whoa. So yeah, no,
So that was traumatic for you.
not traumatic. Just like suddenly my time was diminished rapidly.
You're 12.
Hello. What? I didn't need my parents.
Listen, I remember being like.
When I was
7.
11, my parents started fostering kids, so I was no longer the kid in the house. I didn't mind that at all.
Sorry, Lyndon.
I said I didn't mind that at all.
Do you know, I remember being like 7 years old, maybe even younger, and there being like my parents trying to actively teach me what it meant to be an older sibling, and there being like 2 things left, whether it would be 2 ice creams or 2 balls or 2 things, and be like, you're the oldest. So they go to the 2 youngest, and me being so angry, like there must be an older sibling somewhere. I'm so annoyed, and I feel like they were creating these learning experiences. Like, see the 2 balls? Look at them. Neither of them are yours because you're the oldest.
So it's time to slap and clap. Angela, who you got? But remember, Angela, we start with what?
Slaps.
Well done.
All right, so it's all right because I only have a slap today, so we're starting with a slap or a slap. My slap goes to the BBC, who've allowed 2 of their reporters to use the N word.
In what context was the N word used?
So one of them was it was such a rubbish. One of them was saying, "Oh, it was nearly like a warning for sensitive content coming up," and they're talking about the NHS worker that got run over.
He was attacked in Bristol, down the road from my house.
Wow.
It's like 5 minutes down the road from my house.
So, and then she said, we're now going to show you the tape or some footage from that evening. Just beware that the perpetrators or whoever use the word nigger. And she said it in its entirety. And you're going to hear someone say the word nigger. Why are you warning us about the use of a highly offensive word while using that word? How are you going to use a word to warn us? Let me know.
I literally
Tell you
went
what they
like
won't
this.
say. They won't say will they?
I don't know. No.
We'll cut that out, though.
Please.
Okay.
It's just a rebel. Sometimes with the cause, but sometimes that cause is not for now. All right? Okay. So she used the word that she's trying to warn us about a word while using the word that she's warning us about. Doesn't make any sense.
No.
It's like me trying to explain to you what, I don't know, yellow means while using the word yellow. Doesn't make any sense. Also, it's very rude. I think she's just finding a way that she could use it in a justifiable way to her, I guess, or to her community. Wild. Then shortly after, I don't know what they're drinking up there in BBC. I don't know, but there was the other reporter. I don't know what she's doing. I don't know if she's reporting on the weather. She's outside with an umbrella. She's outside with an umbrella. I don't know what she's saying. I don't know but she said she was saying that somebody had written nigger country or referred to something as nigger country. Yeah. But why did you need to use it? Like, the context, to be honest, we're not given the context of the conversation, but I don't think it's even irrelevant. Why do you need to use that word? Why don't you say N-word? Look at your majority of your white counterparts in America. They even know, even with their nonsenseness, you can say N-word. Why do you need to say the entirety of the word? I don't understand. And so BBC, I mean, I don't know what went out in your weekly email. I don't know if people just come back from lockdown, quarantine, and they say these words in their house and now they're trying to say it at work, but something needs to be done.
Maybe she was on furlough. She's just come back to work and she didn't get the training. I think for me, the issue is that the BBC and other corporations are not intentional about what are offensive words and offensive phrases for people of colour or black people.
Oh, they know, because they told us, just to be aware, the
They're saying
footage
it then.
that's coming up uses highly offensive words such as nigger.
No, I'm not saying they don't know. I'm saying they're not intentional. They're not intentional with whatever training or protocols they're giving to people to say,
Yeah.
we can't say this word. The repercussions of saying this word are X, Y, Z. Because if there were repercussions of saying it and it was written into policy or practice, then they wouldn't be saying it twice in 1 week. You can say it in America. You're about to lose your job. Like, literally, you can't have anybody saying the N-word on TV. It's wild. The BBC, that my taxes that we pay for with our TV license, because it's that's like the public, they call it the public purse. Like, we own the BBC. So that's why they have to have transparency around, well, they're supposed to have transparency around salaries and what they're doing, because we're paying for it. Now you're basically telling me that I'm paying for someone to call me a nigger? No, thank you. Where do I unsubscribe?
I'm telling you, I don't understand. So that's my slap for this week. Yeah. People are dragging.
I mean, I'm not, listen, they do these things on purpose. They do things to get us a little bit up. Like I've said this before. I think there's currency in making black people upset. So let's just not get upset, because some of it is just not worth it. Just like when they did. Actually, I know. Oh, I got 2 people to slap. Darn. Never mind.
Go ahead. Slap. Enter.
Actually, no, I'm not going to slap them, because I'm not going to bring attention to it. I'm going to slap the other person I was going to slap. So the person I want to slap is John Leguizamo. So he tweeted and said, so the context of his tweet was just after the Emmy nominations, a lot of black people got some nominations on the Emmys. It was great. Michael B. Jordan celebrated. It was really good. And then John Leguizamo said, why can't we Latinx have a piece of the pie? We are the largest ethnic group in America and missing as if we didn't exist. And then Dasha Polanco, who appears in Orange is the New Black, said, it's only us speaking up on it. No one cares. It's the silence from those that fight for equality, but only their equality. Diversity, but diverse enough to include thyself. That mentality of, as long as I'm good, I don't see a damn thing.
Bear in mind, there was no punctuation in that whole thing, by the way. It was I feel like it was a flowing sentence. Because I found it hard to decipher where the comma... There was no comma in there, was there? There's
a full stop.
There's a full stop, but there was no commas.
No commas.
That needed a lot of commas.
It did.
Yeah.
It was hard.
Yeah. So that's what they said. So black people got a lot of joy in the Emmy nominations, and then the Latinx people want to say, what about us? Why aren't you saying what about you when it was all white people?
No,
and there's a couple of things to unpack. First of all, I don't even agree that you're an ethnicity anyway, because people can be white and be Latinx, and you can be black and Latinx, and you treat those people accordingly in those countries. So don't pretend that when you leave those countries you're the same.
They are an ethnicity, but they're not a race, I would say.
Okay, maybe that.
Keep this in.
No,
even race.
I spoke to my friend about this, and I'm gonna get her exact
because they are a mixture of races.
Yeah.
But they are an ethnicity because there's a lot of them, and they share a joint culture. Well, the majority of their cultural background.
Right.
Yeah. My question is, why is it a negative trigger when you see another disenfranchised part of society winning? Why is that the trigger? Why do you need to mention that part of society in a negative, like, so they don't want to help? No, friend, we can all win. And this is the thing. So I was telling Fabrice and Lyndon, I was telling you both about that sketch I saw of, like, there's 3 men in the picture. One is a fat, wealthy white man, one is a working class white man, and one is a black immigrant, yeah, and they're having there's cookies, and there's a whole plate of cookies behind the fat wealthy white man, and the immigrant has one cookie, and the wealthy white man is saying to the working class white man, oh, the immigrant's taking all of your cookies. And I really feel like that's how it's played. It's like nearly like we have to squabble between that small light that's is better than we got last year, but it's not near enough. And what we're striving for, we're gonna do infighting to discover that when in actual fact you've got
we're not one.
Okay,
I'm not a black American is not one with a Mexican American, right? But there may be more one with a Dominican American that's dark skinned. There might be more one with them, right?
Not all of them.
But even with that illustration, the whole thing is that they're hiding the cookies. They're hiding behind them. Latinx people have seen for years that white people are getting everything. They've seen it already. It's not hidden.
It's not a surprise.
They've seen. Just now, black people are starting to get recognition for the work they're doing. You've seen for years that white people are getting it. Don't pretend like don't pretend like now it's a good time to start complaining about it now that black people start getting it. Because to be honest, most black people, they say black and brown anyway. So when they say black and brown, that includes people who are Latin.
I think it comes down to a few things, but you're right. I think black people are, in my opinion, I would say, and people can shoot me if they want to, I think we are generally more inclusive of everybody.
Way more inclusive.
And let me tell you something.
And we speak about it though, as black people who live here, who've grown up here.
Yeah.
I can't
speak for black people in America.
It depends on where you lived.
And where you lived. But I can speak for black people here, and I feel like we are inclusive. I cannot say the same is true of other ethnicities at all. No. And I have friends who are in other ethnicities or other races, and it's not inclusive. My Mexican American friends tell me when I first met them, they were like, there's a lot of issue and tension between black Americans or African Americans and Mexican people. And she was like, and to be honest, I'm really glad that you don't have any of that history or like association coming from England, because I feel like you would have had a perception of me as a Mexican person and I would have had a perception as you, and maybe we wouldn't have been friends. It's actually been very refreshing to have very hard, like honest conversations with her, because I'm like, I'm not coming from that position. I'm coming from a very much like, what is the issue? And I asked one of my friends about it, and she was saying, particularly with this thing around the Emmy nominations, her perspective was that she thinks that if you thinking about the origins of tension between Latinx and black community, she was like, it came down to survival. So when you live in the most underserved spaces, your MO is survival. So if there's any way for you to survive and get on top of someone else, you're going to do it. And she said that's where I think some of the issues have come from, and we're continuing to talk about them now. However, like now everyone knows better. We need to do better. Like we can't just be like,
when have black people stepped on Hispanic people to get ahead?
No, I think
it's all the way around.
No, that's what she's saying. She's saying Hispanic people have stepped on where possible, or if they needed to survive.
Yeah, but even that says the black people aren't the aggressors in this.
No, but you know what?
Then people that are not the aggressors are the ones. The people that have been the aggressors of stepping on another race to get up close to these people are the ones now complaining.
But I think also it's to me when we talk about black, in our head we're talking about black people, whereas I think in America when they say black, they're talking about the black culture, and there's a certain like, so when I think about black, I think of all the black people across the Caribbean, whether you speak English or Spanish, across South America where you speak English or Spanish.
Well, Dominicans I think of black people, whether they're Spanish or not.
Yeah, and so I know over there on that side of the Atlantic, they really, when they say a black person, they're not even talking about like a black Caribbean person. It's like black American and Caribbeans.
Sometimes people are. Sometimes they're trying to be smart with this now. Yeah. They'll say black Americans, but if a Jamaican person who looks black, looks like any of us in here steps in America, they're going to assume that they're black, and they'll assume the identity of being black. If someone comes from Haiti and goes to America, they're going to be seen as black. They might call themselves Haitian, but they're still black. Yeah. It doesn't matter. They look black, they are black.
Yeah.
But
people like to be smart with it now and say, but you could be Jamaican. No, but they're black. Yeah, let's be real about it.
And we see it like that. Like, if you're black, you're black. So to me, I feel like when I see people like Dasha saying like, oh, they're not speaking, in my head I think a win for a black person is a win for you. Exactly. Like in my head,
so she talks about her blackness quite a lot. So it really confused me when she said that.
But that's what I'm saying.
I feel like she's straddling two sides.
They really do, and I think there might be a little bit more to the conversation that maybe we're not privy to. Not saying that it justifies it, but it makes it a bit more intricate. But like you even see like in conversations with Deval and Kadeem, they were talking about being Caribbean and being black, and that issue,
and being very different,
There's not another term for talking about black people from America, that descendants of American slavery.
Yeah.
There's not another word to call them. So they've kind of deferred to calling them just black. Then those who have come from another country call themselves what country they come from, because they know what country they come from to a certain degree. But having said that, they actually come from the same place at the end of the day.
I just feel like a win for a black person is a win for, and someone who presents as having black skin.
I'm pretty sure
it's a win for a black person.
I'm pretty sure Dasha Polanco is the same one talking about how she's Afro-Latin.
Yes.
Deal with that issue that you have.
She is.
With Afro-Latino people. Yeah. Deal with that issue where they can't even call themselves Latin sometimes. Deal with that issue before you come and talk to black people in America getting what they get.
And there's a lot of Latin women who present as white.
Yeah.
Who have much less barrier.
Yeah. They can pass.
Because they can pass and they can be, and maybe it's not a scream celebration when they win, because really and truly until you see their surname you don't really identify them as a Latin person, or maybe they don't present that. But I really feel like, to me, and maybe I'm happy to be wrong in the future, but as far as I can see it here, it was a non-comment to me, especially from Dasha. Like, to me, I just feel like black people are winning. Okay. We are all black. Let us be black.
It makes sense because he looks like he's Italian. So I mean, okay, whatever. You want to be called a different race, but I'm pretty sure that you could sometimes look a little bit white.
But you know, when we went to New York, and when we went to America, I really did realize that the actual look, obviously, because it's not only a mixture of white people and black people. There's Native American mix in there. Yeah. Like they do present quite differently.
Obviously,
and I've known that before, but I just feel like
some of them won't.
Some of them won't be, and some of them do.
Like some of them are very white Mexican people.
When I was in
like Sofia Vergara, the one in
Modern Family. When I was in Korea, there was a lady, I swore blind she was a white American. It was only until she started speaking Spanish. I was like, huh? She was like, oh, by the way, I'm Puerto Rican. I said, are you joking? I had no idea. No idea. She just presented like a very typical white American girl.
Even Desi, she's that YouTuber.
The influencer,
She's Latina.
Who? Which one?
There's a
famous YouTuber.
Yeah. I never watched her until very recently. But yeah, I don't know. To me, I just feel like it's such a, I think that maybe they may have, they want a bigger piece of the pie, but they're talking to the wrong people, because we're just about getting, you're talking to the completely wrong people. You're talking to people that have the whole pie, and we don't need to argue for this small bit. We can actually think of ourselves as having way more, and so don't come at us, but also, and it's true, it's that squabbling for survival. Like, it's either me or you. So why can't it be me? And if it's not me, the problem is you and not the other person.
I also just want to end and say, you don't hear us squabbling about the Latin Grammys. Has anybody ever said anything about that? No.
Why do I care?
Well, I mean,
why do I care?
I'm happy for you to have that. Have it. Do you know what I mean? Like, no one is out here saying why they're not African American Grammys. Like, I mean, we clean up because we're talented people. Sorry, that's a fact of the matter. But I'm like, you're crying over something that we have a very small piece of the pie over, when you have your whole huge celebration that's only for people who produce, sing, I don't know, whatever, music that's in Spanish. I don't understand why you're crying over this very small thing that we've just about got our teeth into.
And you know what? I can't tell you not to be sad that you don't have more of a slice of the pie. Just direct that energy to the right people. And that is, you need to direct the energy to say, you know what? Listen, we want some of that pie. Let's figure out how we need to argue on, don't drag everybody else into it. Don't need to throw down everybody's name to get what you want to get. And just be happy. Why not be? Why are you being bitter? To be honest, the first comment, I don't really feel an issue with that, but it's the second comment that really shows that it's actually it's not only
got a lot worse. She then did a video, and the video just in my mind didn't make any sense.
Upset me, but what did she say?
Just nonsense. She was like, I just want to let everybody know this isn't what I said. I was talking about equality for everybody, and what she wanted to say was not what she said. She then said, and I mean equality for people, for different race, or for sexual orientation. And I was like, stop, because you're talking about protected characteristics and that's not what you said. But actually what you're now saying is talking about like everything that's protected versus black and white. So let's not pretend that you're now conflating two issues. So I couldn't listen anymore because I can't listen to stupid people, and she was punting herself as very stupid.
I'm so sad because I'm just so sad.
It's okay. I think she's on a journey. Like everyone's on that journey. Anyway, it's whatever.
Anyway, I'm slapping John Leguizamo and Dasha Polanco because I was dumb. Go have a conversation with Amara La Negra about her life.
Go and support her.
Go talk about that issue. Go talk about whitening the race. Go talk about progress in the race. Talk about that first before you come talk to black people.
That's true. But I think you can talk about both issues at the same time.
No. Talk about that first before you come talk about black people.
Are you going to talk both at the same time?
Talk to them first who share your ethnicity and darker skin than you.
Yeah.
Talk about that first before you talk to us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway.
I heard you the third time.
Who are you gonna slap, Fabrice? Thanks for asking. Nobody very serious. Nowhere near as serious as your 2 points. Just want to slap Netflix UK.
Oh yeah, and that's a very serious to me
because I just want to really normalize black joy. I need to normalize black joy. I also want to normalize black women in luxury, like in luxury houses, luxury lifestyles, and luxury eating in luxury places. Just black women in luxury. I want to normalize that and not be like, oh, she's got money. How does she get her money? How about we're just black women and we're living our best lives? However, back to Netflix. Netflix US have launched they've launched as part of their Strong Black Lead campaign that they've had for a while. They have announced that as of weekend just gone, they have, I guess, bought the rights to Moesha Sister Sister, One-on-One, The Game, Half and Half, and a few others. And they're being released over the summer, and it's...
Can I ask a question?
So exciting.
It is.
Yeah.
Why do they choose The Game? That's what I'm trying to figure out. They could have picked it. We're gonna put
a lot of people
all
like
of
The
us.
Game.
They had the.
They killed. And maybe
to not have The Game.
No,
The Game
because
was
they
good for the
killed.
first
They
note.
killed us in the UK with The Game reruns on BET. That's probably why.
Oh, that's BET.
I didn't have
BET's
BET when The Game was
trash,
out.
anyway.
When The Game was out, I was in Korea, and then when I came back, nobody had seen The Game for like 4 years, and then it was on BET.
Then it came back.
But
it was better before.
Yeah, it was good the first 4 seasons, I think, and then it was bad when Tia left and whatever the guy's name left. Anyway, whatever. The point is this, okay?
Erwin Davis.
Thank you. The point is this. We don't have it in the UK. I'm going to need everybody, because I'm not speaking to Netflix anymore because, again, on my nerves. Everyone's reached out to Netflix, like... people who are UK celebrities, UK singers, are like, can we have this in the UK? And Netflix have said, much like the BBC when they lied about not finding the tapes for The Real McCoy, Netflix said, oh, you know what? We don't have the license to show that in the UK.
Shut the hell up.
That's an absolute lie.
But who does?
Of course they've got the bloody license. They're lying.
If you can get the license to play all of those DC or Marvel comics.
They don't.
Stop.
They don't.
Friend?
Disney.
Or if you could get the license to get the Malcolm in the Middle. Right.
Have they got that?
Yeah, they probably do. I think they do.
All I'm saying is this.
I want that.
They got Fresh
can't...
Prince. So why can't I get the rest?
I don't care about that. What I'm saying is this. There are black people who grew up watching those shows, and that those shows, as we've discussed previously, represented us, and we need it. And quite frankly, black people in 2020 are going through a very hard time. Netflix need to give us moments of black joy where possible. I don't want to have to watch Girlfriends on YouTube again.
In the small screen, and it's a lower, so they're supposed to be talking here, but talking here, because they have to change it to get past the copyright issue or infringement or whatever.
So annoying, yeah.
YouTube are playing a lot of the stuff without shame.
Yeah, I know, but when they get caught, when
they
too
get
many
caught,
people find it,
gets locked
when
off.
too many people find it, they get locked off, and then you have it in weird frames or in weird. I don't know. Anyway, I completely agree. I think that also then I don't know. Well, it's not their fault, but in general, television, the people that do the broadcasting need to somehow partially right their wrongs. We would struggle to watch those shows growing up until Trouble came and then disappeared into thin air.
Yep.
But if we wanted to watch it, you couldn't watch it on your just normal channels. Like you really had to search.
Yeah.
And it's only because of Trouble that we are able to even have that kind of that reach or to be able to tap into those kind of shows. I think now with the rise of places like Netflix and
all
I don't
streaming
know,
services,
all
Amazon
streaming
Prime,
exactly.
Hulu.
Why do you continue to do this to us? Why do you continue
It's
to
like they're
stifle
dangling the
us?
carrot. They're like, hi everyone, what we're going to do, we're going to get everybody from your favourite shows to do an amazing advert and tell you how they're all coming back to the summer. But only where? In the US, because apparently no one else exists in the black diaspora outside of America. It's ridiculous.
We give a certain amount of time, but at some point we're just going to pirate it. So please, just give us the stuff legally.
It's
Or
true.
I will illegally watch it.
Oh,
I've already got my VPN.
I had to legally listen. The first 4 seasons of the game, I had to watch it legally.
Yeah, it's true.
It wasn't in the UK.
It wasn't. I'm just gonna have to
I
use
don't
my
really like the game,
VPN to
but-
block my Netflix, and I've got my friend's American Netflix, but
Oh,
I
yeah.
shouldn't have to do that.
I don't know how you do that. We'll talk about that after.
But you know, yes, true. But you know what? I think it's because they don't want to pay the people or pay. Netflix doesn't want to pay for that to be a worldwide,
Pay for it because you've got the money.
and you've got the audience that want it.
got
You got the
money
demand.
to purchase the film. Oh no, A Fall from Grace. You got the money.
Lord, why are you gonna add another black person?
Because it was trash,
Do
but
another film that's not
it's
good.
worldwide, but we still got to watch the worldwide trash.
Yeah.
true.
We can't give me Moesha, the blackest show
All I
ever on
want-
TV.
All I want is
With a black
Moesha.
female, a dark-skinned black woman as a lead.
Yeah, and all of the women were dark skin.
Not all.
Yeah,
most.
Moesha.
Yeah, all of them.
Andel wasn't dark-skinned.
Oh yeah, no, that's
Okay,
true.
well, yeah.
But the main ones, the mother, the best friend,
It's true.
Do
Do you know what I remembered? I randomly remembered one of the songs from the Parkers, like when they used to perform their song, and it was the girl from Blossom. What's her name? I don't know what her name is.
The white girl. Mm-hmm. All right, yeah.
Her. They were a sick little band.
Yeah,
Jenna Von Oy.
Thank you.
I don't remember that.
I'm actually not thinking you're an
I used to watch
alien.
that.
Bruh,
on TV.
I thought I was the
When I was a
one.
child.
I love. My mum loved the Parkers. My mum loved it, and like their songs were sick. Like they were actually really well written songs.
All of those shows that you've named, their what do you call it? Intro music, theme tunes. I would listen to them by themselves.
Me too.
Oh yeah.
Moesha's,
I
Girlfriends.
We talked about this when we talked about 90s TV. I'll go back
all
to
of them.
time.
I don't know about one. Imogene, what do you call it? That football show.
The game.
Didn't
have a theme.
Didn't have a theme.
actually.
Yeah,
That was a problem.
But these ones,
Well, it did, but it was.
Yeah, it wasn't very good. The one for one-on-one was Flex's wife, wasn't? What's her name? Shanice. I Love Your Smile,
I
wasn't
don't know
it?
what? No, it wasn't.
Are you sure?
Oh, it wasn't.
No.
Are you sure? Are you sure? What did Shanice sing the theme song for? Shanice theme song.
Yeah, definitely wasn't one-on-one.
Those songs were epic. Even Cousin Skeeter, and that
This
whole
was
show
the
wasn't a good
production, like,
show.
It was a dark child thing every time. Probably not, but it sounded like it.
All of Us, Gorgeous
Oh,
CQ.
Shania sang that song. I love it.
I'm
her
that,
fangirl.
that one didn't bang as much
What the
as that.
sisters? What? All of Us?
Yeah, it did.
Moesha's one's
Yeah, it
banged.
did.
all
All
of
of us is.
Yeah.
Moesha's one's banged. One-on-one's banged.
And the one with the two sisters. What's the two sisters that are coming on the what do you call it?
Half and half.
Half and half's one. The theme tune was better than the show.
You and me.
Yeah. That's what I think it was.
Oh, the ending was
No,
bad. But to be honest, the show
It
was
starts
not
here.
great.
It starts like down here. How did it start? Oh, I'm getting so annoyed.
Through the journey of discovery.
That's how you know you're gonna have a good theme tune when you start in the
But
basement.
The show wasn't good.
Yeah,
The
it
show
wasn't.
good.
But I literally only used to watch it for the intro. That's it, and then I switched.
What happened to intros, man? I need to get that back.
Oh, I will listen to it. You know, on the Netflix at the moment, I'll be skipping the intro all the time.
Excuse me, I want to stand corrected. I'm never right. I'm never right with Lyndon. The theme tune for one-on-one.
I started to sing it. It was a man.
It was Shanice and Tone.
And
Yeah, but it's a
No,
man.
it's two. It's a woman.
Yeah, that's two.
You know why I know that? Because she's married to Flex. That's his wife, isn't it?
Oh, is it? Oh.
Yeah.
It was Tone. It
It was Shanice and Tone.
was Tone. What is it?
Let me tell you about the good gospel singers, yeah?
Let's pray for Tone because Tone needs a lot of prayer.
Yeah, but he's still a good singer.
Yeah, I mean that's not everything. Is it?
And he came from the church.
He needs a lot
Everybody
of prayer.
comes from church.
Amen.
Or pastors free.
Tone needs a lot of prayer.
Well, at the moment, I'm praying for myself.
And on that note, guys, we're out.
Oh no, tell them to sign your position.
Yeah, so please sign the petition in my bio. It's on change.org. I'm trying to get people to really recognize that we need to have moments of black joy legally in this country. I want to be able to turn on Netflix and watch Girlfriends on my big 40
Imagine
TV.
nothing will get done. My cousin was like to me, imagine if they did this and people were in uni. Everybody, if they released it in March, everybody that year is
Let me
failing.
tell you
All the
something.
people are
I
failing.
dated a guy and we would just watch Girlfriends all day, and he'd be like, "Don't tell nobody." And I'm like, okay.
Girlfriends
I
was
never really watched
A
it.
star.
Oh, it was so
Girlfriends,
good.
No.
A star.
And everyone's angry because it ended really abruptly.
It ended like this.
Yeah, they turned
Just
into
on
the
an
game.
angle.
But we actually need a proper ending for Girlfriends.
No, it's alright. I'll leave it like that. I don't care. I don't want to come back and ruin it.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
These times, everybody hates Chris's out here, so still got that. That's
a good show.
It's a great show.
The
Different
first
kind of-
seasons were nice. I liked.
All of them are great.
Anyway, guys, I'm out because I've got to catch a flight.
Okay. Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've actually got to go.